All right, welcome to the Non-Stuffy Attorneys Podcast. I am joined today with Stan Faulkner from Perigon Legal. What's up, Stan? How's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
Amazing.
Good.
Amazing. Yeah, yeah. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your firm?
All right, let me see. I started this in 2016 in my living room, I guess. I got tired of working for somebody else and just took a leap. I had about, I don't know, 5 or 10 clients maybe. Um, I thought enough to get me started, so left this firm and left the firm I was with, which was kind of a small probate firm, which was rapidly growing, but I just didn't like the way he did things. And it was just time for me to work for myself. So moved out on my own, and at the time I was doing estate planning and probate only, and it was me. And then moved into a space, and I had a joint conference room for a while with like 3 other lawyers, um, where we just shared the conference room, right? And I had a singular office. And then I did that for 6 months, and then I moved into this basement studio kind of office situation and hired an assistant. And it was me and her for a while, and then just kind of cycled through some assistants trying to figure it out, get the right person. Um, I was slowly growing, trying to figure out how to grow and how to get there. And I was hiring marketing companies that were just like taking my money hand over fist, man. And I had a client. Well, I was doing this trust plan for this client. He asked me to see, asked me if I could close on his real estate. I was like, I don't know, no idea. He says, you need to learn. So, that was probably like 2019. So I spent like 3 years. I thought about just sort of like slowly, incrementally growing, not real fast because I wasn't positive about how I was doing referral based growing, right? I was part of these marketing networking groups, and you would meet on Thursday mornings and that sort of thing. And because the digital marketing was sort of just such a roller coaster. And trying to build the brand a little bit. This was back when I was just using my own name as the firm name, like the traditional lawyers do. And then in 2019, I learned real estate the hard way, I think, still am sometimes. And that started growing, as well as the probate started growing, right? We started getting more clients that way. And then it started feeding each other. And so I spent 2 years probably just focusing on real estate, nothing else, because it's a very competitive real estate market in Georgia. And I think it is that way in the Southeast in general, right? So spent 2 years trying to grow that to the point where it allowed us to meet other folks, get some volume, because it is a volume-based business. But at the same time I'm doing that, I'm a solo, right? So I didn't have anybody else, no other attorneys for a while. And
No assistants or anything like that, just you.
what? Yeah, well, I had paralegals that I would bring in, so ended up getting a paralegal for probate and slash office manager and an assistant that did some estate planning stuff. And then the more real estate I got, I added 2, 3 people in there. And the problem is, like, when you're learning some new area, you don't know if somebody's any good or not at what they do. And they can tell you a good thing, and you don't know until 6 months later if they've screwed up a ton of stuff, right? Um, but that expansion allowed us to sort of get our name in the marketplace, allowed us to hear about acquisitions and or potential guys, and we've been in 20, I guess 3 is when I decided to really get outside the box of my comfort zone of being by myself and expand. And so that's where we are now, is like we're actively trying to expand as much as we can.
So what was getting out of your comfort zone?
Staying small, me and an assistant and maybe one other couple other people, and, just not pushing boundaries of, I think, larger revenues, but being, me, I think, comfortable with, taking $100,000 a year, right? And having other people, but not expanding our footprint, not, getting more well known, getting outside and really trying to grow it.
So being small, getting that 100,000 salary, that was like comfortable for you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Because I had control, right? That's really what it comes down to is control. Are you comfortable in letting some control go to other people?
Yeah. So you're controlling like all aspects of the firm. Yeah.
100%, right?
Mhm.
Everything.
Right.
Yeah. Can't do that.
Not if you want to grow. No, you can't.
No.
Yeah.
No.
That was something that I never had an issue with that.
See, yeah, and I think that's why you grow faster. Why you've grown so fast is
Yeah.
that wasn't your what it and it's really just a mental block. That's all it is.
Hmm.
If you don't have
Yeah.
it, you're way ahead.
Yeah. I feel like I'm very confident in myself. Okay. Like I have,
No, of course not.
I don't, I don't think I have a real big ego, but I'm really confident in my capability to like learn new things, and apply what I learned. Um,
Yeah.
so I guess maybe from that standpoint, um, like most positions in our company, I feel aside from the legal work, I feel like I would do the best job, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think I had to take that information, right, that I had, the knowledge or the skill set that I had, and train other people to be just as good as I would be, right? It's like,
Mm-hmm.
and that really has come. We're kind of feeling a little bit of the growing pains right now on the non-attorney sales line, just because I don't think I did a good enough job
Mm-hmm.
with training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's hard though, isn't it? I mean, that's one thing that trips me up is having the sufficient time to train. Really showing somebody all the bits and pieces. It's time consuming.
Yep. Yeah, it is. It is. And um, yeah, kind of the sequence of events that happened with us in getting there was we had Stephanie. She's now over the sales team, but for several years she was our chief operations officer. So she was really managing the production, the paralegals, the attorneys, all that stuff. But she was also super, super competent in probate. And we were having her do pretty much spend half of her day doing probate sales, and then the other half doing COO type stuff. And I would, listen in on her calls. And as she's like on a sales call, I would send her messages. We would meet after them, like, okay, you did this right. Let's fix this, stuff like that. So there was a lot of like one-on-one training that I was doing with her. Now, I wasn't really documenting any of it though.
Yeah.
It was kind of just like I was just training her just to be a really good salesperson, and she got really, really good at it. Um, And I kind of figured that she would take the training that I gave her, and then when she has her own team, it would just like magically impart itself over, right?
Yeah. 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 I think about that too. Because I didn't start documenting people's positions until this year, until 25. SOPs for each position, and that it's still infant in its creation. It's not like you know, we haven't diagrammed every part of somebody's job so that somebody else could pick it up and carry it forward. You almost have to have them do that every day. They have to document their own job, right?
Yeah.
There are. I've been seeing stuff in my. It's kind of funny, like Facebook or Instagram, man. The microphone is always on, brother, and if you're talking in the room with it, the next thing you know, your feed is full of stuff. So my feed is full of AI tools specifically for law firms documenting processes. Right? Have you seen those things
Yeah.
that you can use? I am curious about them, but haven't gotten into it. But that's the thing is you've got to document what's you're doing um, to get the person below you to do it. And I kind of
Yeah.
envy.
What'd you say?
I kind of envy your setup in that you've got the time. Well, say you've got the personnel to do that, right? I don't know if you
Yeah,
have.
we're getting there. We just started like executive training.
Mm,
So yeah, all of our managers are now 2 hours a week are on studying specific. It's a Hubbard Management Technology System, administrative stuff, and there's courses on it, and they are. We actually have an instructor who's she's not they study at their own pace, but she's there to answer questions, to make sure they're, doing the drills and the essays
mhm,
and the practical assignments correctly. Um, and so we started implementing that about 2 months ago. And this woman, she's very well trained in it, and she was working for us, 2 hours a week. But she's also very well trained at compiling SOPs and putting it into like coursework, right? Like for generating courses on it.
mm,
She started part time, so she's working about 20 hours a week. She started that, I want to say 2 or maybe 3 weeks ago. Um, so her first order of business is the sales team, because we have a bunch of documentation in our Zoho platform, like, various SOPs for sales and even
mhm,
for the legal team. But it's just like someone just took the information, just threw up
mm.
into the system, and it's like
Yeah,
all over the place. And it
yeah,
just like, okay, I'm thinking of something one day, so I write a policy on it and I slap it in there. And it's just like,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah. I'm guilty of that, right? So it's like I see somebody made a mistake, and I'm like, all right, write this out, and you insert it, and everybody looks at it and like, okay, and they sign off on it, but they're not really, you know, learning from it.
right.
Yeah, I'm so guilty of that, and I think
Yeah.
that's it. I think I'm all patting myself on the back that I've created added to the SOP. It hasn't helped.
I mean, it's better than nothing, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
better
yeah,
than if you don't
yeah.
put it, because you can still go and refer to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like someone does the same thing. You can
Yeah,
go refer to it and be like, hey, read this again, read this again.
yeah.
Um,
It helps with my insurance carrier too, right? They want to know that you've
yeah,
documented it. Yeah. Do you have a document plan? Yes, I do.
for sure, for sure. But I'm real pumped that she's going to be compiling this stuff. Um, we just created a course based on the book, Secrets of a Master Closer,
Hmm.
and I created a whole course on it because it essentially goes through the whole step-by-step process of sales, like from the very beginning, like the introduction to qualifying, to finding out what the problem is, to giving your presentation, to closing. It's all in sequence, and it's an amazing, amazing book. Very,
Hmm.
very practical steps for sales.
Wow. Okay.
So, our sales were down for several weeks in a row. I start listening to calls, and I'm like, what the hell did they do? Are you kidding me? Why'd you say that? What, you didn't, all this stuff just, you know, drive me
Mm-hmm.
crazy. So then I think and kind of to circle back around what we were talking about before, was like, okay, I could do just as good of a job, if not better than everyone in the business. That's just my confidence speaking, right? But now as a manager, I'm fully responsible for their production,
Hmm.
right? Like I have to take complete ownership. If someone, I'm sitting there listening to, a recorded call, and I'm like, what the fuck did they do this? And they said that, and like they just totally botched that whole sale. Like, what are they
Hmm.
thinking? And then I'm like, well, wait a minute. I'm responsible for
Yeah.
their presentation.
Yeah.
And that's where I was like, okay, I have to write a course on it, and I have to get them to do the drills, pass all the drills. It's a pretty rigorous course. Yeah, yeah, it's not light.
Wow.
I'm excited. I'm excited to get these guys trained on it and get them using it, and yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty pumped about it.
Right. That sounds good. That sounds
Oh,
really good. Yeah.
yeah,
You wrote that?
I wrote yeah, like the book. After each chapter has like various essays and some like practical assignments, like,
Hmm.
okay, how to qualify a prospect. Okay, there's a chapter on that, how to make sure they're a qualified lead.
Hmm.
Um, so at the end of each chapter, there's various essays that he put in there, and then there's like a couple drills. And so I pretty much just uh, used that and then added a few more of my
Hmm.
own.
Hmm.
So it wasn't too much work, but I compiled it into a, a course, pretty much like a syllabus, like a check sheet. It's a check sheet where they
Yeah.
go one item at a
Yeah.
time. And yeah, yeah. And I'll tell you what, when they get to the end of that, if they don't fucking know what they're doing, there's a big problem.
Right. Right. So speaking of that, like getting to the end, do you put people on like when you add like a salesperson, are you putting them in like a probationary period or like a reserve period where you're going to review them at the end? It's like you're either getting it or you're not getting it.
No, um, maybe we should, but we're really reviewing them the entire time.
Awesome.
We're really on top of what they're doing. Yeah,
Hmm.
the entire time. But we probably should.
Hmm.
We probably should. We have a 90-day period. I mean, this is just for time off.
Yeah. Yeah. Same here.
Yeah.
Um,
Are
yeah.
you doing that? Are you doing?
Well, yes and no. I mean, we say when we hire somebody, you have 90 days, but it serves two functions. One is insurance and time off, right? Qualifying for that stuff. Um, but then at the end of the 90 days, I do generally sit down with somebody and do a review. However, I mean, it's not like I'm a stickler for it and or, really keeping track of everything they've done over the 90 days to say you're fitting in or not fitting in. I'm kind of, I guess I'm lax in that, but at the same time, I'm not free to pay attention to all that either.
Right.
They, we just this year implemented like sort of managers in that specific practice area, whether it's a senior paralegal or, for the real estate, a senior closer that help pay attention to that stuff, are supposed to anyway, right? Um, so that, and then they're involved in that review period. It's like, did you see what was going on? And these are the things. So I like doing that at 90 days because well, I think it gets the new person on their toes. Like you've got to be fitting in or not. But I haven't had somebody where at 90 days say, "Well, that's not true." I guess I have.
We
Two
have.
people, yeah. Inside that 90 days, I've let go of a couple of folks like that aren't fitting in. So I think it's a good ramp up.
Yeah,
You need to
we
see.
re- we recently hired a HR guy, very very well trained in HR. Been with us for I don't know 4 or 5 months, maybe less. Anyway, super bright guy, super sharp.
Mhm.
Um, and one of the things that he helped us with was the discipline.
Yeah.
And we have our policies and procedures, our SOPs, all of that stuff.
Mhm.
And if you have an employee who makes a mistake or does something, off the SOP that's not in line with that, or they're breaking policy or whatever, they should be getting a written
Yeah.
reprimand, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Before that, we had several legal assistants that we had hired, and they'd be here for like a month, and I'm hearing all this noise, right? About she's screwing up on this and that, and she's screwing blah blah blah. And it's like, um, I said, okay, well, what have we done to correct her? Well,
Yeah.
nothing was really done,
Ugh,
right? So it
yeah.
wasn't really fair to that person.
No.
Um, and it wasn't real fair to the business either. Like, we would have like this big uproar about somebody, and people were all talking shit about them and upset. And it's like, okay, well, what did you do to handle it?
Yep.
And it's like, nothing. They
Mhm.
didn't do anything. And so that comes back to like, okay, I'm responsible for
Yeah.
the fact that they didn't do anything about it.
That's me, man. 100%. I am, despite my exterior, I'm a nice, super nice manager about people. And for the long, I literally this year, it's this year I started implementing, the write ups, I guess. And it was only because my fiance, who came from the world of Coca Cola and how they handle, internal staff. She's like, you've got to get this under control because I think when you're growing and you're adding people, it's very easy to get a person in that says one thing, but then is the gossip monger amongst the group, right? And stirs the pot. And you don't really know that from the management position. You think, when somebody's coming to you, they're overly sensitive, right? Or they're making it up. And in the same thing as if like you don't make a mistake, then everybody's gonna be like, well, he's gonna be pissed off for a day or two, but nothing's gonna happen from it. It'll be fine because you haven't documented anything, right? You haven't put them on a plan. And this I'm the worst at it. I'll be honest, the absolute worst because I'll give people the benefit of the doubt, and I'm like, they're a nice person and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you have to do it. You
Yeah, man.
absolutely have to do it.
Totally. I have the same viewpoint, right? It's like, look, we hire somebody, even if they're with us for only a little bit, or uh, even if they're only with us for a little bit or for a while, it's their job, right? It's
Yeah.
how they're paying their bills. And I feel like shit getting rid of somebody. Like, I hate it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
I
Um,
lose sleep over it. Yeah.
yeah, but I have to remind myself that I'm fully responsible for the company as a whole, right? The growth of it, and then also the environment
Mm-hmm.
as well. And if I have these team members who are like, hey, Jim over there is just screwing up constantly, he's causing double work for all of us, he's just a
Yeah.
liability, and I don't do anything about it, what does that show
Yeah.
them, right?
Yeah.
What does that do for the culture, right?
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
make it makes doing a shitty job okay,
Yes. That's exactly right.
you
Yep.
know?
Yep. And it's it shows, I hate to say it like this, but it really shows weakness at the sea level, and people will take advantage of that.
For sure.
They
For
just
sure.
will. I think it's human nature. Uh, you know, it's almost it's a pack mentality, and you got to have a leader in the pack, and they have to sometimes, you know, do the things that nobody else wants to do, and that is firing people. And I hate it, absolutely hate it. Even when it's the right move, I still hate doing it.
Same, absolutely despise it.
Yeah.
But part of the disciplinary thing too is it should include correction.
Mm-hmm.
So someone screws up on violates an SOP. Okay, they get a written reprimand for it, but what's the correction? Okay, go back and restudy that
Yeah.
SOP.
Yeah.
Write an essay on how you're going to apply this.
Yeah.
Meet with me. Let's go over it.
Mm-hmm.
And then if that same error continues to happen, then it's kind of like, all right, dude, hey, we already corrected you on this once.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's your final warning.
Yeah.
Can't have it happening again. So, because we've had people who have screwed up and then or been kind of like assholes, right? Just employees. I'm thinking of one in particular. And when Ashley finally got with her and was like, "Look, you do really good work, but you're acting like you're acting like an asshole, and
Mm-hmm.
I just can't have it. No matter how good work your work is, if it happens again, I'm gonna have to let you go." And sure as shit, it totally stopped. Like 100% totally stopped. And it's been probably a year and a half and it's been totally fine.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah. So you put just enough pressure on somebody to where they get themselves in line,
Mm-hmm.
right? And if they
Yeah.
just can't, even with that amount of pressure, well, then yeah, you got to let them go.
Yeah. 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 I've had that where I had somebody that I thought was a high performer, but man, did she talk down to everybody that worked with her, made them feel like crap.
Did you
And
talk to her about? Did you talk to them about it?
a couple of times, right? I saying, like you can't talk to her that way, and it worked for a while and then didn't, and um, it would come back and rear its ugly head again. And I finally was like, despite her high performance, like skill level, like really good skill level, had been doing this particular type of work for 20 plus years, knew it more than me, and but everybody else around her hated her because of the way she talked to them. Like whether they made a mistake or they didn't know as much as she always made them feel like they were so inferior. So they would just be like, "I don't care. I'm not helping you."
Yeah.
And it's like, and every day it was some drama, you know. And we tried. I think I tried several times. My downfall there is in that one particularly is I didn't document it well enough about the opportunities given in the corrections. We had done them, but nothing was in a file. Nothing was signed off on, to show the lineage of it over a year. It's not, it didn't really come back to bite me in the butt in any way, but we should have done a better job with that learning experience. And also another learning experience part of that is should have done it a lot sooner. Should not have waited to have the conversations, right? And it's helped me learn with another person as well. It's like you start to hear the gossip and the rumors, you gotta like
Yeah.
immediately,
When you
immediately
when you when you
come.
document it, and give them like a written something in writing on what actually occurred, it's good for you as management because you ensure that you're not firing someone too quickly or keeping them around too long,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And it's also fair for them.
It's objective, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, "Hey, look, I got with you on January 2nd,
Hmm.
right? And this would happen, then on January 15th, and now we're talking again on January 20th." Like,
Yeah. Why are we
so
doing this? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
One of the big things that I noticed with these write-ups was the staff like to when they would do them, they like to talk in generalities, like she's messing up on all of her
yeah,
cases.
yeah,
It's like, okay, what case did she mess up on?
yeah.
Give me the specific one,
Hmm.
and then okay, it was Mary Smith's case. Okay, she did everything wrong on there. Okay, what exactly did she do wrong on Mary Smith's case?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
Um, so that's super. I found that to be super key because I don't know if I know I've gotten reprimands in the past where it's like super general, and it's kind of like, you're coming at me with this, like,
Yeah, right. What does this mean?
and it
Yeah,
makes you feel like shit. It's like
yeah,
he's screwing up on everything. Like, oh my God, I don't do anything right.
yeah, right. So I think that's key too. Is it becomes personal when it's like that instead of the specific instance of a behavior. It's more like your personality is just wrong, and
Mm-hmm.
that's not fair to anybody, right? You have to have a specific. So I've learned a lot from it. I'm still not very good at it. I really wish I had. Um, I wish we had the capacity at the moment to have a person that only dealt with this. I think that's where we're going to end up being in a year probably, but we're not there right now.
What do you have admin wise? Do you have go ahead.
Well, I mean, so we've gotten a little bit better at the administration side. So my fiance ends up working for us part time to some extent on creating the structure. And then I've got an office manager who is the manager of all of our real estate paralegals as well. She works at our other office. And then I have an office manager at this location, which reports to that other office manager, right? That's her direct report. But then everybody in this office goes to her for their specific intra-office issues, whether it's a time off, whether it's somebody else in the office, etc. And then below them, there is sort of this senior hierarchy depending on the practice area, right? So I have a senior paralegal in probate, and then she has a direct report underneath her. And from the admin standpoint, it's like you go to that person, and it goes to that person, and it only comes to me at the very end.
Yeah.
Um, I wouldn't. I call that more of a reporting structure than admin, right? I don't have like an HR person or things like that. I think the office manager in the other office is kind of like that, but she's more of a pushover than I am. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it starts with you. Um, yeah, it definitely starts with you because you can either insist these things are in, or one of our first policies in our employee handbook is it's titled creating your environment.
Hmm.
And it essentially tells the employee that they are responsible for the work environment that they're in. Okay. And they either allow gossiping or don't allow it. They allow people to mess up or they don't allow it. And it's up to the individual group members to enforce this. Um, because, yeah, as management, you're not going to see it all the time,
Yeah.
but you will hear complaints, right? You will hear so and so complaining about so and so. And at that point, it's like, as manager, you have to be like, okay, did you write it up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you didn't write it up, I need you to shut the fuck up. You need to stop.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
because now you are the one gossiping,
Yeah.
right? If
Right.
it's something off policy, you need to write it up. They need to get corrected, and if they don't get corrected, right, and they keep doing it, good, we'll get rid of them, right? But to sit around here and gossip and complain about them is a red flag to you, not to them.
Mm-hmm. Good point. So do
Yeah.
you have it set up that so you have like managers within a group that's a specific area, practice area, right? And it
Yeah.
flows up like that. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Sounds pretty similar to what you got going on.
Yeah, I think the backbone is similar, right? The and but I don't have it set up where, and this is me. I haven't empowered the manager in that group to do those functions. Instead, that person just comes to me and says, "This is what I'm hearing."
Mm.
You know,
The manager or the one underneath the manager comes to you. Who's coming to you?
the manager. Yeah,
So the manager comes to you and says, person X was complaining about person Y.
yeah,
Got it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or I heard this from this other group, and it's like, I haven't.
Yeah.
I've
So
never.
then
haven't done a good job of like empowering them to act independently.
Yeah, yeah, that's probably what you need to do. It's like when the manager comes to you and, hey, these people are fighting or whatever. Okay, what did you do about it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the policies that we have actually is what does an executive want? What kind of communication does an executive want? And he wants information. Um, he wants, information, right?
Mm-hmm.
He wants solutions,
Mm-hmm.
right? He wants you to make a decision
Yep.
and
Yep.
and then tell you what they did, right? Rather than coming to you for, hey, I have this problem. What should I do? It's like, no, no,
Yeah.
no.
Right. Yes. So, man, that is one of my pet peeves. It's one of the things that I learned even before I went to law school when I was out in the world working and getting trained in management myself. It was always like, if you come across a problem, then develop your own solution. Present that solution to your manager, and instead of just presenting them with the problem, tell them how you're going to fix it. And if they don't like how you're going to fix it, they'll tell you. But otherwise, they're going to let you fix it. But don't just come with a problem, because all you've done is you haven't helped them at all. Your manager, you've made their job harder.
Yeah, they now have to make a decision on it. They have to
Yeah.
then evaluate the whole scene and
Right.
and
Get all the details and all, and dig in. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's one of my pet peeves. It's like getting presented a problem.
yeah, don't give me any damn problems.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't have time.
and then the last thing that a manager doesn't want is turbulence, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
like I don't. You should not be putting that on my lines. It should be handled.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, with the decision making, that's really key. That's really key with training, because if somebody learns about all the different problems that can come up on that job,
Mm-hmm.
they should already have the solution, and so
Yep.
they should just do the solution and tell the manager, tell the executive when it was done. Hey,
Yeah.
this came up. This is what I did. It's done. Right?
Yeah.
They shouldn't even come to the manager asking if it's okay to do this. The only time they should be coming and asking if it's okay if they do something is if they've never run into that problem before, right? And
Yeah.
then, okay, I do need help with this, right? I don't
Yeah.
know the solution. Okay, so you tell them what to do. Okay, so now next time that comes up, they better not come to you. They better
Solved.
just,
Yeah.
right. They should just do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point.
Yeah. And that's how you really, build up
Mm-hmm.
efficiency and, keep things off your lines and shit that, yeah,
Yeah.
that they just need to be handling.
Yeah. I think it's hard to get to that point, though. I guess where I struggle is, I mean, do you build like a manual? These are all the situations you should be running through, and
Yeah. I mean, where you're at now is more difficult than if you were to start all over again and document each thing as it comes up. It's it's
yeah.
definitely more difficult right now, but it can certainly still be done.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, it's a matter of getting the documentation in place now and getting everyone on board with it. Because right now you're probably in a situation where everyone has it kind of up in their head on what's supposed to be done, what's not supposed to be done,
Mm-hmm.
how to handle various things. But that doesn't help you when someone new comes in.
Yeah. Right. Because they don't. Yeah. Right. The new person is. It's almost like the oral tradition of history. Right. It's got somebody has to tell you instead of you being able to read it and see it. And get it out, right? So I read this thing one time where it's like part of in creating a team, a functioning team, is part of your job is to document your job, right? You should be writing it down every day. Something comes up and keeping track of it and incentivizing people to do that. And I think that's where we're headed. We're going, and I've said it. I haven't made that like everybody's job function. We've just started sort of creating these in-house monthly meetings by group to increase, I guess you might call it product knowledge, right? For us, it's legal knowledge. What can they, what things they should be seeing and looking, and how do they handle them? And we need to add into those things every time documents that they're walking out and adding to a manual, if you will, um, and implementing.
Yeah, we're doing that with our salespeople right now because there's a fine line between like what our sales team needs to know,
Mm-hmm.
um, and you take the production and paralegals and all them, they know a lot more than the salespeople.
Yeah.
Um, but how much does a salesperson really need to know? Anyway, so right now I'm having the production team create a document that is they're presenting, they put a situation there, and then what the solution or what the response should be from the salesperson. Um, and it's going to be probably 50, 60 different scenarios.
Yeah. Like a diagram, like if this, then this, if this, then this kind of
Kind
thing,
of, but
right?
we're turning it into a drill. And the drill essentially is going to be like, here's the question, here's the scenario, here's the answer to that scenario.
Mm-hmm.
And part of our sales training is the salesperson is going to have to pass that drill. They're going to have to get through all 50 questions perfectly in order to pass it. So if they're like hesitant on one of the questions, then so let's say they get to question 20 and they're hesitant on question 20, they're going to have to go through the rest of the questions and then come back and start at one again and go through the whole scenario, all the scenarios, and get it down letter perfect before they pass.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Um, and that really could probably be done on the production end as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's like even from the simplest tasks, or you get a legal assistant who's just off the street who's got no experience. You create these SOPs or policies or whatever, and then if you have them do a drill like that, right? It's like, here's all these scenarios. Okay, you have to have that like the back of your hand before we even let you get on any files. Then yeah, the person knows their shit.
Right. Yeah. Wow. That sounds like it's like a lot of work to create, right?
It's proving to be. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's proving to be a lot of work. But I'm really looking at the long haul because we're in a similar position as you in regards to our SOPs. It's something that we neglected, and the training materials and all that stuff. We grew very, very quickly. Um, so a lot of the attention was on, okay, we hired a bunch of staff. Now we got to pay them. So we got to do the marketing. We got to do the sales. So a lot of the attention was put on just like coping,
Yeah. Yeah.
coping with the inflow
Yeah.
and the amount of work that we were getting. But to really be successful, you have to cope and organize
Yeah.
at the same time. And that's, we're at that, we're there right now. And
Mm-hmm.
I love that we have this woman that's working part-time, she's going to be compiling this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited because
Yeah.
we should be able to train somebody right from the beginning. We should have training materials for every legal assistant. Same for paralegals, salespeople, all of it. They should all have courses that they do where they complete the course, and it's like we put them on post. We know that they know their stuff.
Yeah. Right. And they're following the way you do it. Yeah, that sounds awesome. I'm just what was I was wondering when you're saying all this, like, could AI help you build that
To a degree.
faster? Yeah.
To a degree, yeah. I think a lot of it is us. They can help out a lot with creating the SOPs, creating the policies, I believe. Um, yeah. And then they could create like the drills as well. Like,
Mhm.
okay, take these 20 policies and create this what do you do drill, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they could certainly help with that. But a lot of it I think is us also like understanding, okay, dude, I don't know what the legal assistants do. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I have no clue.
You got to know their position. Yeah.
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 Yeah. So I need someone to go in there and actually like, okay, what
Yeah.
do you do?
Right. Yeah.
I'm sure hoping because Charlotte's the one who we hired to do all this. I'm sure hoping she doesn't go in there and then start asking them, what do you do? And they're like, I don't know. Like, that's a possibility.
Yeah. Right. For sure. Yeah. I think, you were talking about growing rapidly. I had somebody tell me this like a year ago. Like, you grew too fast. And I hated hearing that. I'm like, I don't think that's no such thing. Like,
Yeah.
because they're like, well, you made this mistake or you missed that. I'm like, yeah, because yeah, we were swamped, but I don't think there's any such thing as growing too fast.
That
It's
same person,
growth.
that
How
same
do
person,
you,
yeah, that same person who told you that, do they have their own business?
yeah, right. But a cottage, they're a real estate investor, right? So they could just pick and choose when they do it.
So
And
they don't really have a team or anything like that. Yeah. So they're not speaking from experience.
no,
And
and it rubbed me the wrong way. It really
he would,
bothered me. I'm
yeah,
like,
he would never start. He probably hasn't. He probably wants to start a business. He probably wants to get a team and all of that, but he feels like everything needs to be perfect
yeah,
before, you
yeah.
know.
Right. And I was like, it's not like I, just went over and turned the faucet on and
We
could,
did.
could control the outflow. Right.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
It happened. Um, and I'd like to be able to turn predict it and know when it's actually happening. And, I think you can to some extent, but at the same time, it's like 100 files show up, within 3 months. It is what it is. Right?
Yeah.
It so irritated me. So I'm with you. It's like, yeah, no, you get the flow and then you cope and then you try to figure it out. One thing that I get nervous about though all the time, and I'm guilty of this, is like in my coping, I overstaff. Like I may add too many people and then I'm like, oh crap, the payroll's too high.
Yeah.
Um,
We're in that position. We have too many staff.
yeah. And then I'm thinking, well, your solution is just go get more business. Okay. Sure.
See,
Uh,
we have I've our HR guy, he's constantly trying to increase the revenue by employee. That
yeah,
number.
I've heard of that too, that concept.
Yeah.
I'm ignorant on it though, honestly. It sounds fascinating, but I'm
It's
ignorant.
really, yeah, it's really your revenue divided by the number of employees that you have. I think if you're like under 100,000 per employee, you're like insolvent basically.
Mm,
Um, you know, Around 200 is okay.
mm,
Once you get over 300, then things are really profitable.
mm.
We're around 200, so we're okay. And
Yeah,
he's put a lot of pressure on us
yeah,
to get more efficient. So we have a lot of attention on that,
yeah,
getting much
yeah,
more.
yeah.
Hmm.
I think that's a big piece of it is efficiency in the work product. Because if it's easier, efficiency to me means it's easier to do your job, right? It happens quicker. Um, and then if that's the case, you don't need as many people.
Right. Or you
Yeah.
can take on more work,
Yeah. Right.
right? You know,
Right. Which, for us, it is you can spend more money on advertising to take on more work. or take on those cases. So like I end up seeing cases like one guy emailed me this morning, and I'm like, we could do that, but man, that seems like a lot of work for me, and it's going to slow me down. And I'm like, I'm probably not going to take that because I see in it, and I think you just hit it as like, yeah, there's no efficiency in that work for me right now. It would net, yeah, I could get a decent retainer from the guy, and but then it's in the weeds and it's trudging through. There's no setup for it, and I think that's key in having somebody going through and organizing a position for efficiency purposes that allows the flow to happen easier.
Yeah.
And now your capacity is changed.
Yeah. Yeah. That comes down to kind of like your, I don't want to say core, not necessarily core value, but kind of like just your just decision making on what you're going to work on and what you're not, right? Are you going to only handle these cases? Because Ashley's come to me before with situations like you just said. She's like, I don't think we should do it. And she's like, I think we could get paid decent amount for it, but I don't think we should do it. And then my question to her every time is, what dollar amount would make you excited to do this work?
Hmm. Okay.
How much would they have to pay you to be like stoked to handle this? Okay, yeah, it's going to cause a shit show, and it's going to, okay, with all that considered, where are you like really happy? And she'll give me a number. Okay, go give them that quote. Go give them that quote. And about half the time they take it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question to ask. You're right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it really makes you think about the value of that work. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I always she comes to me with the expectation I'm going to tell her don't to take it, and then my question's always the same.
It's not the answer she's looking for. Yeah. Gosh, I think my fiance is the same way. She gets a little more tense with me though. She's like, you know what the answer is. You just don't want to do it. I'm like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I probably know the answer. Yeah.
Like if somebody came to us, like we had a client come to us and be like, hey, I got this PI, this personal injury matter, right? We don't handle personal injury.
Yeah.
And we tell them, look, we don't handle personal injury. And they're like, no, I want you to do it. I want you to do it. I want you to handle it for me. All right. If they pay us $10 million, would you do it, Ashley? Yes, I'll do it for $10 million. Okay, good. You'll learn it. You'll full disclosure with them. You got to tell them, I don't know. I got to learn it all.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a price.
Yeah,
for sure.
There's a price. I think you're right. There's a price. Yeah. It comes back to value.
Right. It's value-based pricing.
Yeah.
And that's where I love, the flat fees as opposed to hourly billing.
Same.
Right.
Yes. And we keep it pretty, I'm a big fan of flat fees. It's easier to quote. Frankly, it's easier for somebody, prospect, to understand it and to either be okay with it or quickly not, and you're not going to get dissatisfaction down the road. One thing we've tried to figure out, though, and we've done a decent job of this over the years, is know where that flat fee should be relative to that case type so that we are way more profitable with the flat fee. We've gotten burned a couple of times where we've gotten way upside down on a flat fee. But if you don't go to the client early enough and adjust the fee, you get stuck because they don't have to change. We've allowed ourselves changing some of our documents to allow us to adapt the fee based on the work that comes in as we tell them. But I'm so much more satisfied with flat fees than hourly work. Yeah.
Totally. We want to get into probate litigation.
Mm.
Um,
Mhm.
we've had an ad out for a probate litigation attorney for months now, and it's like a needle in a haystack. Can't find them.
Yep.
Right? There's firms that do it,
Yep.
but we just spoke with a firm the other day who I think we're going to partner with
Hmm.
because we get so many probate litigation leads. I mean, it's like out of control how many we get.
Yeah.
And but they work hourly,
Yeah.
and I asked them, I was like, okay, what about doing this, on flat fee? And they were like, no way, it can't be done. So there's have you heard the name Breed Along? You know who Breed Along is?
No.
She wrote this book called The Happier Attorney, and it's all about flat fees and
Mm.
getting into flat fees. Because when Ashley first started, she was charging hourly, and I hated it. I
Yeah.
hated it.
Yeah.
Totally undercharging,
Yeah.
not billing for everything, all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah.
And I just happened to come across Breeda's ad on Facebook one day, ordered her book, read it that weekend, and we had a consultation with her, and it totally handled Ashley on it. But Breda was a divorce attorney, and most of them do hourly.
Mm. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she basically explained how to handle, family law cases on a flat fee basis.
Hmm.
So I want to, because I'm excited about these guys. I think that they could do a really good job, and we could have a good partnership with them. But I want to get them on flat fees.
Yeah. So that's one thing I've struggled with is flat feeing litigation.
Are you doing litigation?
So I did it when I was just doing probate by myself. I did it, yes, and then I started to get away from it because of the time suck that gets into it. You can't do a transactional practice and be the litigator. You have to have somebody just litigating. The calendar doesn't mesh well. You can't have a consult on the day that you've got things due to get out. And so I ended up stopped doing it for a while, and then I would bring on an attorney for a while. And I have a guy now, and it's similar to this. He doesn't work for me. He is of counsel, so he has his own firm, but we put him on our letterhead. He has an email address. He does all of our litigation that we can take in, and we're trying to increase that because we're the same way. We're getting leads through ads, etc., but we were like, we're not going to even have the litigation consult because we didn't have the capacity to do it, didn't want to do it. And so, but now we are. But we're doing the same thing as it's billed hourly. You pay us a $7,500 retainer, and we're going to bill hourly. I'm going to read this book that you mentioned because I haven't figured out how to quote a flat fee in a litigation case without getting upside down on it.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
she would do it. She did it in stages.
Yeah,
If I
bet.
recall.
Yeah, I was thinking that same thing. It's like if you broke it out into the various parts of the case, and put a fee associated with that. But I think you can also do this. We've done this with somebody. We had a probate where it was litigation. The other side appealed and appealed the court decision, and we were able to figure out a flat fee for the appeal work. But we made the deal such that this is the flat fee. It's not going to exceed this, and in fact, our time might be less than this, right? And the client was all about that. It's like, yeah, I know I'm going to be capped here, and so we quoted it high enough that we wouldn't get burned, knowing from his experience in doing appellate work, it's probably going to take me 2 full days of working on this, 8 to 10 hour days. That equates to this amount of money and time. He was able to do it in a day.
Yeah.
Right? But I think that's where it's going. It's like, yeah, okay, you got to figure out based on experience, but then that requires somebody that knows exactly what that's going to look like based on this case type, in terms of time. Well, I think the thing that from a litigation standpoint that turns people off from actually pursuing it is they see it as a never-ending retainer. Like, I'm constantly going to be giving you money. If
Yep.
there's, and attorneys never want to say, this is all you're going to spend.
Yep.
And I'm guilty of that. Absolutely refuse to commit myself to this dollar amount because you don't want to be, in the hole.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, yeah, it's interesting though, because if you go to a mechanic, right, your car's all screwed up and gets in an accident or whatever, right?
Mhm.
They're going to give you the estimate. And hey, this is what you're going to pay. Now, it could take them 30 minutes to fix it. It could take them 3 days to fix it.
Yeah.
But that's what right?
Well, I
I
will
don't
say
know.
this. So, from my experience, my ex-wife worked at Coke, and she would tell me, and we're talking about different budgets for cases in that world, right?
Yeah.
That they would make their firms flat fee them on litigation.
Mm,
They would make the firm doing it for them, tell them exactly how much it was going to cost per section of the case, right? And they got stuck with it. Like, no negotiations. You come in and this is the dollar amount.
yeah.
It can be done.
I, yeah, I despise hourly so much.
Yeah.
It's like, because it
You're
really,
you're a slave to your clock at that point, and you're nothing more than an overpaid hourly employee, right? Um, you, I think it dumbs down the expertise of the firm doing the work, right? It's sort of like, you're clocking in and clocking out.
yeah.
Okay.
It also rewards non-production and penalizes production, right? Because one of the first cases Ashley did on a flat fee, she we got a call from this client, and they needed a contract reviewed, and it was like negotiation or whatever. Ashley knew it like the back of her hand, right? Like, this was like her wheelhouse. And it was a big deal for the client. I think it was a few $1 million deal or something. It had something to do with business law. Um, and we had just decided the day prior that we're only doing flat fees. That's it. So she has this consult with these people. She hangs up with them. She tells them that she'll get back to them with an estimate. She comes to me and she tells me the details. I say, okay, how long is it going to take you to do this? She's like, hour and a half. Okay. And she was charging like around 400 an hour at that time. So I'm thinking, okay, we're going to get $600 for this. Right? I said, go tell them it's 7,500.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she did. And they quickly paid, no problem at all.
Mm-hmm.
So we went from being able to collect 600 on something
Yeah.
to 7,500.
Yeah.
And it was because she was such a high producer
Yeah.
in that practice area, right? She like knew that shit down cold, so it was going to be super fast. Now you take another attorney who doesn't know jack shit about it,
Mm-hmm.
and they have to do a bunch of research, they have to do all this other stuff. It
Mm-hmm.
rewards them, right?
For
They
not,
keep billing, keep
yeah.
billing, keep billing, keep billing. Yeah, it rewards them for not producing efficiently.
Yeah. Agreed.
So that,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
so if we can get that into the other practice areas, it's like, you know, I mean, PI is great in that sense because, when they work on contingency, it's like, hey, you do a good job and you get, efficiently do a good job, you're going to get paid. Right?
Yeah, when they do it on contingency, I think there are certain areas that lend itself to a contingency and certain areas that don't. Um, you have to have some guarantee of money, a payment in a contingency. Um, Not that you're going to hit a home run, like, because you could easily strike out,
Mm-hmm.
right? You can spend the time and get zero. In the probate world that can be the case.
Yeah.
in certain things. You're not always guaranteed some inheritance in a
Right.
in a contested will, right? So um, it's hard to take those on a contingency.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know where to start on probate contingency.
Yeah,
In what situation would you take on a contingency?
yeah,
I don't know well enough.
yeah. I don't. I've never done one on contingency. I've had tons of people ask me to, and I always go back to them. I'm looking at it saying, okay, what's the minimum amount that you would be entitled to um, if you lost, right? And so it has to be such that you're going to get something no matter what. And if you're contesting somebody's will that you're not in, well, you're not guaranteed anything,
Yeah.
you know, or even a trust litigation would be the same way. It's like if you're not, you maybe it's if it were one thing where you were contesting um, the amount of your inheritance versus the inheritance, then maybe you could do that because you're like, you're contesting. I'm only getting a third. I should get a half. Well, okay. Then if your drop dead is one third, you could probably build something off of that. Um, but that's not common. It's all or
Right.
nothing. It's all or nothing. A lot of times. Uh,
Yeah.
so how do you can't? I
Yeah.
think it's suicide to think of the contingency in that case.
Unless the gambler in you comes out and it's worth enough for you. Has to be worth a lot, right?
Yeah. No, I just it's like jumping off a cliff and hoping you're going to find a parachute on the way down.
Yeah.
You're like, no, no, I just I can't, I can't. I don't know if I would. I think when you're if you were a solo, you're more apt to do that because you don't have overhead and other things
Yeah.
going on. And I've heard of guys doing that, but they're all solos. They have nothing else to worry about. It's just their time.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. It turns a little different when
a whole
you gotta pay
firm,
hit the payroll and
yeah, a whole
rent and
firm, yeah, and just doesn't make sense. But I am going that I think from I do think that, and I thought about this for years before I even started putting flat fees onto other things that we do. I think that is the way the practice is going in general. Is um, everything will be on a flat fee, a menu type of thing. This is when you look. This is what you want. This is what it's going to cost. Um, and more people are okay with that. I think more clients are okay with that. They may
yeah.
think your flat fee is too high to some extent, right? And find it to be expensive, but they would rather see that than feel like it's open ended.
It's more secure, you
Yeah,
know.
right.
It's like,
Yeah.
okay, it's $50,000, right?
hmm
Yeah, I
It's
know what it
also,
is.
it's also easier for you to respond to when they say it's expensive. I'm like, really? Okay. I mean, you can easily come back that. It's like, well, you're not paying for my time. You're paying for what I know and you don't know.
That's right.
Um, or what we have done in the past, right? So that it versus sticker shock every month when the bill comes in,
Yeah.
unless somebody is just sophisticated with litigation and they understand that that's the way it works. It's hard to educate lay people about the cost every single month.
Right. And they start scrutinizing. Like
Yeah,
you spent an hour researching. Like you're the attorney. Why do you got to? I'm paying you to do research.
yeah, and like every email, you're charging
Yeah,
me for every email.
dude, if I was a client, it would drive me nuts.
Oh
I
yeah,
would look at it. I'd be
yeah,
like, you
yeah.
motherfucker.
0.2 for this, you know?
Yeah.
Gosh.
And I think for Ashley, when she was doing it, I think it drove her nuts too. So she just wouldn't bill them for
Yeah.
it.
And that's the other thing too is when I was doing it, we'd constantly write off time, not charge for it, show it on the bill, but as a zero.
That's what she would do.
Yeah. And all you're doing, I think, and you're trying to make your client happy and not overcharge, but you are at the same time discounting your own value and worth, for dealing with people, because there's this somewhat irrational fear that they're just going to go somewhere else,
Right.
right?
Right.
And
I'll tell you what, there's an abundance of clients out there that need legal work. There is never a shortage.
yeah,
Um,
hmm
yeah. And once you get into that like abundance mindset, once when I did real estate, that was like one of the first things that kind of like helped me uh, get to kind of the next level. Was a lot of our business was a lot of the business that I generated was from open houses. I'd host an open house, someone else's listing, have prospects walk through, and if I didn't like them, right, I mentally said to myself, next, right, on to the next person, right, and but at first, when I first started in real estate, it was everyone who came through that door. I had to do everything I could to get them to become a client of mine.
mm.
And it was this like fixation, this compulsion, like this, you know, uh, yeah, like I need to get it. And if they didn't give me their contact information and tell me that they wanted to buy a house or sell a house with me, then I felt like I failed. And then as soon as I made that shift where, you know what, I'm going to pick my clients,
Mm.
then yeah,
hmm
shit just went up.
Snowball. Yeah, that's a good thought, right? I think I'm guilty of that to some extent. Is
I think everyone is.
yeah, over worrying about this. We have to sign this person. Um, and my fiance says that all the time. She's like, stop saying, if they're going to hire you, start
Yeah.
saying they are and acting like they are. And if they don't, you've already moved on, right? And
Or if I decide to take them.
yeah, right. Is no, it's not that if they're going to hire you, do you want them?
Yeah.
Because if you
It's your
want them,
decision.
they're yours, right? And you're walking in the abundance and not you know praying for it all the time. Like
Right.
you have it. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
that's a mind shift that is hard to I think do. But you're right.
It's not
Uh,
hard. It's
it,
not hard.
yeah,
You just decide it. It's not hard.
just do it. Okay.
Yeah, you just decide that yourself. You
Yeah.
just decide there's
Yeah.
plenty of clients out there. There's plenty
Yeah.
of prospects.
And I think that's the thing, though. You're right. There is an absolute ton, and they they haven't been lucky enough to come across you yet.
Hmm.
Right? That's the way I see it. It's like, yeah, there is an absolute ton. We're just not visible to them yet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we back in maybe 22, end of 22, early 23, there's an attorney over in Tampa who mentored us a bit. Does everything we do, right? Same practice area, everything. He's in North Tampa. He's probably about a 35-minute drive from where we are. But he's in our general market, you know. And yeah, we went over to his office, watched a seminar he did. He sat with us for like 2 hours after, and we just shot the shit. He told us all of his successful business practices, what he's done to get to where he is. He's at that time he was going to bring in 8 million that year, and yeah, and we're sitting here at that time we were just under 2 million maybe, and I was just like, but he mentioned during, he's like, look, you guys are competitors of ours, but it's like, there's no shortage of people. Like,
Mm.
if someone calls our office and calls your office and they end up going with you, like, okay, we'll get the next one, like, whatever. And, I had already had that mindset, but it was really, kind of relieving. And people have actually brought it up to me before over the last year and a half or so about, aren't you worried about your competitors? You give them all this information, you tell them what you're doing, and aren't you worried? It's like, not a single bit.
Mm.
Not like an ounce of me is worried. The better a profession does, the better other people do. I think the better we all do.
Yeah. True. Right. Um, I think there is some. real truth behind that, and because it elevates the profession as a whole. You know, I do. I'm guilty of that though. I look at competitors a lot, or have in the past. I haven't really this year so much. I've tried to work on that. Is like stop being so concerned about this guy doing what he's doing and increasing. You should be more focused on your own systems um, to get there.
You should cheer him.
Yeah,
Happy for him.
yeah. I've started doing that when I see this in the real estate world where people will, will have a closing with us and then 6 months later they're closing with somebody else, right? And I see that in their feed or whatever, and I'm always like, yeah, good for you. Just because I think that is the better practice than criticizing them for like, why didn't you come over? Why didn't you call me? Um, you know,
Yeah, yeah. Well, on stuff like that, you got to look at, okay, why didn't they come back to you? Where's your responsibility there?
what did we do or didn't do, right? And sometimes it has something to do with you, and sometimes it doesn't. It's circumstance to some extent. But I do always try to do that. It's like, okay, internally, what could we be doing differently
Yep.
to pick it up? What do we need to change or enhance? Sometimes not necessarily change, but enhance in order to keep that happening. Keep
Yeah.
it coming.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I use competitors as motivation too.
Mm-hmm.
I got this guy, the guy who mentored us. His name's Michelangelo, right? It's like, okay, he's doing that. I got to beat him, right? I got to beat him. Okay. You got Josh Nelson up there in Georgia. Who Josh is? Nelson Elderlaw.
Yes.
Dude, he's crushing it.
He is, and he has been for a while. He has a billboard.
Does he?
Mm-hmm. I drove past it the other day. Yeah.
You ever talk to him?
No, I don't know him personally.
He is a great guy.
Yeah.
Great guy. He's the same as the guy who mentored us.
Mm-hmm.
An open book,
Mm-hmm.
absolute open book, and
yeah,
willing to share anything and everything that is.
He spends a fair amount of money in this jurisdiction. Tanner was telling me that the last time I was talking to him about numbers, like who's spending money in our region for advertising, and he's in there.
I'm sure he is, dude. He's bringing in $1 million a month in revenue.
Yeah.
So he's bringing in $12 million a year. It's like, but he's been around for a while too.
Mm-hmm.
And he's always had that growth mentality, like he wanted to grow.
Yep.
And grow and grow. So no, you look at yourself. Same thing with me, right? It's like, okay, we have that same thing. So now just doing the things that need to be done constantly. If you want to grow, you got to constantly learn, constantly observe what the scene is,
mm-hmm.
what the current scene is, what the ideal scene is.
Yeah.
And just constantly just making strides, doing the next thing.
Well, I think that's it too, is, taking the steps without trying to take the leap. So it's easy to say, oh yeah, I want to be 12 million. Well, you got to do 1 million first.
Yeah.
Right. Before you can do 12 million, and taking the steps and not being such that, oh, I've got to take a giant leap. No, I mean, it doesn't matter. A step is a step. I've been guilty of that. It's like, no, I want it all right now. And not satisfied with taking the step. Well, it all gets there.
How's that work? Yeah. How's that work out? Right.
Yeah, no, right. It doesn't work out at all. You end up a year later going, damn, I'm still here.
One of the things that I'm most guilty of, and it's not a good point for me, is not acknowledging the wins.
Yeah. Yes. 100%. I am so bad at that, and I think that is a momentum killer when you don't do that, and a morale killer if you're doing that with your team in general, right? It's like, no,
right.
I mean, I think everything matters in that. Every new client or every new case or every enhancement that you make is a win. And I have been guilty of that for so long, of like not celebrating a win.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like we're doing really fucking good.
Yeah.
Like our law firm, we're doing really, really good. And I'm sitting here in the present moment, and I'm not satisfied at all. You know, which is okay. But okay, what did we do last year? Right? We hit really good numbers last year.
Mhm.
Okay, great. I need to acknowledge that, and I did. Right? Like, hey, we did a great job last year. Okay. And even this year, we're up 44% over last year. That's still really good.
Yeah.
Last year we grew 80-some%, but this year it's 40, and that's down. But still, look, if we grow 20% a year, that's really good growth.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know.
Right. Yeah. I'm with that 100%. That mentality has, I think, plagued me, and it comes from a good, I think, good intentions. It's like, yeah, I'm striving. I constantly want to be better, but yeah, you have to accept the win and not like, who wouldn't kill for 40% growth?
Right.
Really, growth is growth. Yeah.
Yep. As long as stats are going up, hey,
Yeah.
up is up.
Yeah.
We say that all the time.
Yeah.
Say it all the time here.
Yeah.
Up is up.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Well, Stan, it's been great.
Yeah. Enjoyed it. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for joining. Should have you on again here in the near future for sure.
I would love it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well,
Awesome, dude. Well, I will see you, I guess, next week at the next mastermind.
yeah, I'll be there. Sounds good.
All right, brother. Good talking
Thank you,
to you.
Joe. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Bye.